Words. They're one of the most useful methods of communication. As language has evolved over centuries, the words we use have become more complex. Words become sentences, which in turn become paragraphs. In order to better understand each other, we invented context. Words aren't just printed one by one, independent of each other. Words define each other. Sometimes, words that are innocent on their own take on another meaning when placed next to each other, like a bad influence. 3 words, pleasant as they are to the ear when removed from each other, can become enough to send a chill down any man's spine. Spooky Space Kook. Welcome to the Scooby-Doo files.
We've been getting reports of some very strange activity down by the old airfield. Flying saucers that look like racquetballs. Shrieks echoing throughout the land. Glowing green footprints. They're calling him the Spooky Space Kook. Sounds like a real character. Now, I don't plan on taking any trips down to the airfield anytime soon, but I know one thing for certain. I'll be staying far away from it now.
The tale of the Spooky Space Kook was enough to make the front page headline. There were so many reporters lining up to question the old Smith farm. Mr. Smith himself began threatening anyone who dared step foot on his porch. The poor man just wanted to be left alone. And now, he didn't just have to deal with alien life in his neck of the woods, but also journalists. In a trash can at the abandoned airfield, the extraterrestrials seemed to use as a home base away from its home planet, a newspaper was found proclaiming, "Mysterious ghost craft reported near abandoned airfield." The date on the newspaper? Yesterday, in relation to the day it was found. The paper was stamped with glowing green fingerprints. Newspapers weren't the only clue that something out of this world had landed in the area. Glowing green footprints to match dotted the land, leading straight back to the airfield. The airfield, which might have been abandoned by humans long ago, but has become the launch pad for an unidentified flying object, which means UFO. While reporters were flocking to get sight of the spectacle, not every participant involved in this story was so willing. 4 innocent teenagers and their Great Dane were riding in their van when all of a sudden, the vehicle ran out of gas. The vehicle sputtered to a stop just outside the old Smith farm. Upon seeing the Spooky Space Kook's aircraft fly over the hill towards the airfield, they decided to follow the glowing green footprints and see what all the commotion is about. Naturally, they immediately split up in order to cover the most ground in their investigation. Parked at the airfield is a Jeep with gas still in the exhaust pipe.
There's gas in the exhaust pipe?
That would appear to the plain eye as sitting on 4 flats. But the teenage detectives discover, hidden behind the flats, are 4 inflated wheels carrying the Jeep. They find fresh grease in the mechanic's shop, fresh chicken and ham in the kitchen. Whatever has been living here has an all too human appetite, and Ed is eating. Someone, or something, is clearly squatting in the airfield. Mystery Incorporated member Freddy is lifted into the air by his belt with a hook, while his partners Daphne and Velma seek out Shaggy and the dog detective, Scooby-Doo. They quickly learn they are not the only ones looking for them. Chased by the Spooky Space Kook from the mess hall to the laundry room, before choosing to barricade themselves inside another building. Somehow, The spooky Space Kook finds a way to open the door despite this obstacle. Because Scooby had already thrown the key to the front door out the window and outside the building, Shaggy and Scooby had to dive out from the window, collect the key, and hop back in through the window to let themselves out through the front door. Freddy, Velma, and Daphne watch in suspense as they are approached by a large silhouette, but to their relief, the shadow was cast by their very own Shaggy, who is now carrying a torchlight. The troubles aren't over yet, however, as multiple doors open to reveal not just one, but an entire army of spooky Space Kooks hiding from them in the radio tower. Shaggy and Scooby find a radio set. The Great Dane alerts the gang of the danger by playing a musical instrument. But his friends weren't the only ones listening. As the spooky Space Kook invades the radio tower, Shaggy and Scooby escape by jumping out the window using a parachute to safety, where their friends wait for them, along with the farmer and the sheriff. The farmer notified authorities to alert them of the dangers the teenage trespassers were in. The spooky Space Kook escapes into a wind tunnel, which is activated, revealing the spooky Space Kook to be just an ordinary kook from this world. Scrappy Squad, put on your detective hats and submit your best guess as to who might have been the culprit in the comments section. 3, 2, 1. If you guessed Henry Bascombe, the farmer's next door neighbor, then you were right. Great work, detectives. Now, what would drive a man to put on such a strange get-up and go around scaring his neighbors? Rumor has it that Backstrom caught wind the airfield was going to reopen and buy up the surrounding land. So, he saw no other option than to become the spooky Space Kook to prevent this from happening. Now that we know the who and the why, there is only one question remaining. How? How could he do it? With the use of the airfield radio and a projector like those used in movie theaters, he could create the shriek haunting the area and transmit the illusion of a UFO, which means unidentified flying object.
Breaking news. Breaking. We have just gotten wind of the identity of that spooky Space Kook has been revealed. We have it on good authority that the case was solved by a group of meddling kids and a dog named Scooby-Doo. We are told they operate under the moniker Mystery Inc. Thank you, Mystery Inc., and thank you to all our listeners.